What's up? Y'all doing all right tonight?
Yeah, how you doing, Gary?
Can't complain. Been kind of an interesting day, as far as I can tell. I know
I'd
you've
like
been on a lot already. Bacon, Bacon here has been has been online a pretty good bit today.
Yeah, sure I have.
Uh, they don't have a clue what we're going to talk about at the moment, but you know we can talk about pretty much whatever y'all want. What's going on, Raquel? Good to see you. The that Cottonwood Ranch is Raquel, and I did let her know about about the show. Um, anyhow, we're uh, we're not really exactly sure what to talk about today, other than maybe, well, I don't know. You want to talk about the academy again?
We can do that.
Academy was kind of an interesting. Uh, well, it's a very difficult thing. A lot of folks struggle going through it.
And
In
you
fact,
hated every minute of it. The only thing that kept you in it was going to your favorite restaurant on Thursdays.
that's right. Every Thursday when we got out, you had to go straight home. So uh, I went straight home, took off, the shirt that I had because we had a particular uniform we had to wear. And then I loaded up, my wife, my niece, and her boyfriend, who ended up becoming her husband. And he later on became an officer. So he went through the
And,
same thing.
and then he later on became her ex-husband.
And later on become what?
Her ex-husband.
Her ex-husband and a former officer.
Right.
Well, it's true. You know that. We, my ex nephew-in-law, Bacon, had actually stayed with me for a while, and he was, married my niece. She was staying here too, so we tend to look out after folks. Anyhow, the yeah, that every and I hated every Sunday we had to go back. 12 weeks. The
Both my Achilles tendons almost popped. The doctor at Baptist Hospital told me I needed to quit, and I did not.
Well, how far along in the well, yeah, you went, it was only 10 weeks, wasn't it, or was it already?
It was 10 weeks, and I went in January of 2011.
Okay. I went, I guess May of 2014. So you've been a lot officer, several years longer than I have. Um, we had times where, did y'all get cat trained in the middle of the night? They wake y'all up, make y'all carry around either mattresses or, work out.
I don't remember them ever waking us up in the middle of the night, but they did tear our barracks up while we were at lunch one day and claim a tornado came through. There was
Wow.
underwear and pants, and there was stuff everywhere. Mattresses blocking the stairs. Yeah, it took us a while to clean that up.
Yeah. And they want everything to be, just perfect angles and no dust bunnies, no, a cat train you for pretty much anything.
You could never get those barracks clean enough. Never. They were going to cat train you regardless.
I know. The truth is, there was always something they could find to complain about.
That's right.
Let me ask you a question, Wallace. I maintain that most police officers hadn't made up their decision if they're going to give you a ticket when they're approaching your vehicle. Has that been your experience as well?
Yes. Yeah. It depends on their attitude, but it also depends what else they have wrong. When I run the driver's license, when I ask for insurance, those kinds of things. Insurance is almost a guarantee with me.
Yeah. Well, seems like a lot of times when police officer pulls you over, it could be for anything. It's just like when you're in the academy, there's always something they can find that whether you're going a little bit too fast or maybe expired tag, even if it's only a few days.
Most of the time when I stop people, I use the probable cause just to see what else you had wrong. I didn't intend on writing that probable cause ticket unless I found something else.
Mm. Devil Dog, Baconator, Bacon Hater.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just wondering, uh, obviously you got something else going on there. Whenever you get a chance, I'd love to hear your input on anything.
Devil bacon.
Well, that was a slip on my part. I gotta obviously, I'm gonna have to, I have to watch myself a little bit closer in the future.
Gotta watch out for that devil bacon.
I understand. Hey, I understand you got your new camera and new mic. Is there any adjustment in your camera?
As far as where it's sitting,
No.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking the way it was pointing. You might, if you can point it down a little bit more, instead of your head, the top of your head being in the middle of the screen, it might be.
There's not much because I didn't think to get a stand for it when
Oh,
I got it today.
All right. Well, tell you what, just stand there for the rest of the program, and I'm just playing, of course. No, you ain't got to do that, man.
There's not much. I got to get a stand for it.
Well, we will. I just wondering the way these computers set. I'm gonna be getting me a new computer, and I tried to crank up this. I'm on my laptop, but I tried to crank up my desktop. I don't know what you call it. I'm having one of them brain farts at the moment, but it doesn't have a keyboard that's working. It don't have a mouse on it or anything. I think my wife used those on her laptop or something, and it just don't work anymore. But I'm gonna go through and get it reset up and do it all over again. Get me a new one to work with it. I know.
I need to up my StreamYard subscription. I'm pretty much ready to go. So I just got to get some things going. I'll be okay.
Okay. Do you ever watch officers? Other officers on the YouTube?
Yes, I do. I do.
Who are your favorites to watch? I mean, is there particular ones you like to watch?
No, as far as that, no. I watch body cam footage from cases. When cases like the Jacob Blake shooting happened, when the officer used her gun instead of a taser, that's the kind of stuff I watch.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes I watch. There's about 3 officers I watch regularly, or I guess in one case he's a former officer. I hadn't been following much lately, so it may be a couple of them are former officers. One of them's donut operator, officer 401.
We've watched that at work.
Yeah, and Mike the cop. Now, one thing I like about donut operator, he does have a tendency to go through, and he'll do shooting breakdowns and that type of thing. Also points out, a lot of these videos that are out there now. In the case that you were just talking about, there's no excuse for that. But there's a lot of things that when they show the videos, they don't show what led up to it. And
No, they don't. You can learn a lot by watching those cases. What to do and what not to do. Those officers made a lot of mistakes in that Jacob Blake shooting.
yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm not real familiar with the Blake Jason. The Blake shooting.
The Jason Blake shooting. Jacob Blake shooting, excuse me.
All right, what was that all about? Is that the one where she used her bacon hater? Looks a little bit on the board side.
He does. He does. He put his flag up though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know he's pro-military.
Yeah. He
I
does
got a
not
friend
look
of mine.
entertained.
No, he doesn't.
Uh-uh.
No, he doesn't. I got a friend of mine who is a former military. I think he was in the Army. That just absolutely cannot stand police officers, which is a little confusing to me. But
A lot of people have had really bad experiences with police officers. Bacon hater had a bad one himself. So, and I get that.
well, most people when they have contact with police, it's only when they're on the side of the road. When they're on the side of the road with being pulled over. And
If I knew how to show you the Jacob Blake shooting on YouTube by sharing the screen, I would, but I don't know how to do it.
We're going to show you that. This is perfect what that's for. Gary, would you like to tell him how to share a screen?
Yeah, sure, I would. I was just trying to get where I could pin that in case anybody wanted to come up. I thought I'd go ahead and pin the link. So, and of course, we ain't got to, everything we talk about ain't got to be necessarily just law enforcement, but it is kind of the purpose or the focus, I guess, of.
I just thought about this. You're mental cop. I think Bacon hater should have been mental dog.
There's something to be said for that. Oh, wait a minute. I got to switch over to this to pin it. That's all right. Yeah, if you look down at the bottom of the screen, you'll find several things. One says mute, one says stop comm, settings, share, invite, leave studio. Well, if you click on that share.
Wait a minute. Okay, if I click share, oh, okay, share screen. Okay,
yeah,
I got that. All right.
There we go.
Hey, Raquel, how are you? Are you still here or did you leave?
I don't know. I hadn't seen anybody else say anything since that. But all right. Have you got to where you can share the screen yet, Wallace?
I'm about to. Hang on. Let me check out this video.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
She's here. She's got 2 devices going because Johnny is driving her to 500 at the moment.
Cool. Is that expeditionary, Johnny? I don't know.
No, I'm taking it's probably Johnny Small Pepper.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Get that community tab. All right, let's bigify that. Hey, can you enlarge your screen?
Yeah, I just did tab.
Wow.
If you would look at the,
Hang on a second. I don't know how to enlarge it because I just did a tab. I didn't do the full screen. You want me to back out and do the full screen?
No. At the bottom right-hand corner, there should be a full screen option in the black right by care.
put your cursor over the video.
It is over the video. Hang on a second. Oh, I got
Yep,
you.
right there.
I see what you're saying.
Why the fuck did I just shoot him?
Oh, I remember that one.
Wow.
Did they kill him?
No, he's paralyzed.
Okay.
So this, from my understanding, there were kids in the back of the car, and he was reaching for a knife. When he went for the knife, the officer shot him.
It sounds like they shot him like 7 or 8 times.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
Why the fuck did I just shoot that man? Why the fuck did I just shoot that fucking man like that, bro?
Well, from what I understand, you know, from what I understand, he had just, and it's been a while since I've looked at that.
So
From what
Jacob Blake had a third-degree sexual assault, criminal trespass, and disorderly conduct charge on a woman who filed the complaint that led to those charges.
And it's my understanding he sexually assaulted her right before then.
The officers tried twice to taser him, and he was reaching for a knife. It was found on the floorboard of Mr. Blake's car. There were no other weapons in the car.
Oh. Well, it's an unfortunate situation all the way around. But,
So I thought you would find that interesting.
well, it's definitely something that's been in the news.
I haven't seen it. I don't watch news.
Yeah, I don't either. Which is kind of,
So what's y'all's feelings on that? You feel it was justified or what?
well,
I don't feel anytime you shoot somebody in the back, it's justified. They shot him in the back. Nobody's a threat to you when their back's turned.
Well, there's a couple things to that. I mean, I think they could have handled that a whole different way because I don't know. This is the first time I've seen that video.
Now, there's another video. There's another camera angle.
I have never. Hey, look who's here. What's up? Keto Mike.
Mike,
How's it going, Phil?
All right, let me show this video.
Here's the thing else. Shooting them 7 or 8 times. I didn't count how many it went off, but I think that's excessive.
I think it was 7.
I understand, shooting him if he's reaching for a knife or whatever, but when you shoot him 7 or 8 times, I think that's a little bit excessive.
So here's another perspective of this. This is from a cell phone video. They blurred it out. The cops fought with him several times before he made it to the car. Here's the other perspective.
well,
Yeah, 7 shots
Yeah,
in the back.
yeah.
What was
Yeah.
in the car?
A knife.
A knife. Okay.
well, you can kill
Now,
somebody with a knife just as quick as you can a gun.
Does Wallace know Keto Mike?
What's
Hey,
that?
Keto Mike.
Why
I'm
don't you
Wallace. How you doing,
Why
man?
don't you introduce himself?
How you doing? Nice to meet
I'm
you.
go ahead.
I'm retired police.
Retired police. Okay.
Yeah. 43
I am-
years on the job.
Holy crap. I'm only 37 years old, so.
I started back in the 70s.
Yes, sir. I started in 2011. Much respect.
Thank
And Mike was a
And respect to you.
detective. Mike was a detective on the force as well, correct, Mike?
Yes, I worked with the state. The last thing I did with the state was with the state version of the ATF, and I was second in command for all of Northeast Georgia. And
That's a
and
lot
when
of
I retired from
responsibility.
there, I went into doing code enforcement then with the city of Atlanta, because what I was doing before was a young man's game.
How
It's
old
been
were you when you went into code enforcement?
What's that?
How old were you when you went into code enforcement?
55,
55.
and I just retired from that back in June.
Well, where we work at is usually a place that people either come to retire or to start their jobs, start their job in law enforcement. They don't stay there long because, if they're young, typically because they're wanting to go, kick in doors and,
Got to chase taillights. I call it the chasing taillight syndrome.
yeah, me, I did it because I went over there because I thought I could make a difference. It seemed to be a lot more important than dealing with selling TVs and appliances, that type of thing. And anyhow, and it was for a while.
My first day on the job, I got in a fight. First
Well, you want
and yes, they went to jail. And yes,
that is one thing I've seen. You can't be afraid of a fight to be a police officer because there's a lot of folks that want to fight you.
That's right.
never started the fight, but I ended all of them.
There we go. I guess, I was there about 3 or 4 days when I got into my first fight. Of course, I had a couple other officers there with me, so it made it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, that does. Yeah, yeah. If you got backup, yeah. We had one guy that he would start the fights, and then when you're finishing the fight for him that he started, another officer, you look around and he was nowhere to be found.
Y'all all look like mean cops.
No, I was not mean. You will not find a fairer police officer than I was.
I'm not saying you were. I'm saying y'all look like mean cops.
It's years of on the job. It chisels away at you.
I think it.
I told my wife today, she was talking about a concert she wanted to go to, and I said I just have a problem, and it was in an enclosed area over in Avondale Estates in a small confined area. And I said, I have a problem being inside small confined spaces, and I'm looking around I can't relax. I'm looking around all the time.
Hey Gary, can I add something to your description real quick on the StreamYard on the
Sure.
live? May I add on there may contain graphic content?
Yes, please do.
Yeah,
Okay,
if
thank
you.
If you would.
Raquel said, guys, this is hard to watch. So this content may not be suitable for all viewers.
Right.
Maybe I'll put that.
And if you would go ahead and add Wallace Factor tag and Key Terrific Journey with Mike.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
You got a YouTube channel, Wallace?
Yes, sir. Wallace Factor. I just got started.
Okay, I'm gonna check you out.
There's nothing on there yet, but there will be this weekend.
Okay.
I'm just starting to figure all this out.
Hey, I'm still trying to figure it out, and I've been doing it over a year.
There's
I
always
just got the camera and the mic today, and I got to get some speakers for my computer so I don't have to use my my iPods. But we're getting there. I forgot today that I didn't have speakers when I went to Best Buy. That was not good.
I can't wear those iPods. I can't get them to stay in my ear.
They bother your ears. They do the same thing to me.
They won't stay. They pop out, and the next thing you know, how much them things cost for my iPhone? No.
$150, I think.
Yeah, I ain't got $150 that I can just let fall on the ground and
Right.
it
Hey,
fell out.
Mike,
and I
what
didn't
is it?
know.
What is it? It's the Ketorific Journey with Mike.
Yes,
Hopefully, I can spell this right. Ketori
keto and rific. It's
FFIC.
like what's that?
Ketorific.
Yes,
Okay.
like terrific, but with keto in front.
Yes. Mike. Okay, I did this in StreamYard, so I hope it tags. If not, I'll
I appreciate it. Oh, and
What the
Gary,
Yeah.
you were saying you didn't know what the D stood for, and when I was asking you what time, if that was if at 4 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock my time, what was it? And the D stands for daylight saving time.
Okay.
When you go back, when we fall back, it'll be yours will be CST,
Okay.
Central Standard Time.
Hold on.
Okay.
And
By
yes,
the
it
way-
is not daylight savings time. There is no S on it. There.
Hey, Devil Dog, it should be noticed. It should be noticed in Rific. There's only one F.
Yeah.
He sounds like a mad dog.
I watched your thing that y'all did where you were talking about the guy. What was it? Lone Star.
Yep.
I watched that on the replay. Wow.
Yes, sir. Well, there's still stuff happening today with it because one of his friends, she unsubbed me. You remember me telling you about Nothing Edited, Gary?
Uh-huh.
I do.
She has commented on that video and everything, and said, "I've known Gary for longer than most y'all here, and he's never done anything bad. Blah blah blah. I'd appreciate it if y'all kept my name out y'all's mouths. Blah blah blah." And the thing is no, he's not going to talk crap to her face. He has literally been over at my house, talked crap about her, and then went out to eat with her the next day.
Now you're talking about Les, right? Because you said Gary.
Yes, Les. Oh, I'm sorry, Les. Lone Star Pioneering Les has talked crap about Nothing Edited, and she's going to his defense and stuff, but he has literally been over at my house, talked crap about her one day, all kinds of crap, and then went out to eat with her the next day. Wow. And she had commented, I'll tell you this in a minute. I got
Right. You know, I went to one of her lives. She said that, and she had it on there that she had, in order to comment on her live, you had to be subscribed to her for 6 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She had it.
What's that channel so I can make sure I don't go there?
Yes, literally. I went to her live and she had it under subscriber mode. I just wanted to see.
Ooh, you got
after you told me about that. You know, after that whole thing about her saying that since you didn't say hello to her, then so I went to her live stream and it was subscriber mode only, and the term that you had to be subscribed for was 6 years.
Wow. So Wallace, you worked the streets?
I did work the streets. I worked the streets for several years before I went to the state hospital where me and Gary worked.
Oh, y'all worked together. Okay.
Yes, sir. That's how we met.
Okay.
He was my lieutenant on B shift before I was moved to the forensics department.
I don't know. For some reason, it's not letting me change it. It's not letting me edit.
Wow. You did. That's I tell you, that's one job. The forensic stuff. Nope. I didn't want any part of that.
It's not what you think it is. We'd have to be offline for me to
Okay.
explain that, but
I
it's
understand.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, well.
I've called in the forensics folks to do things
Stuff,
for me and
yes.
all, and it's too much tedious. That's not how I like to do. It's you got it with the things. I can't. I'm fascinated by it, but I can't, and I understand it. And then when I see them in court and they're having to explain all the science to folks and they have to get into it, and I'm like, nope.
I hated doing fingerprints. The fingerprint dust got everywhere. I hated it.
Oh
I
yeah.
get it all over my clothes, all over my hands, and then your nose will itch and you'll get it on your nose.
Yep.
It's annoying.
Well, that aspect to it is really more along the lines of forensic investigation. But there's a forensic aspect of the hospital, and it's those are the more well, we won't go into, I guess, a whole lot of that.
Wow. That's something. Private chat.
Let's see here.
Did you, Mike, did you feel relieved when you retired from law enforcement?
I did. I felt like a weight had been brought off of me. And, there's still habits that die hard. I go into a restaurant and I can't sit with my back to the door. I got to sit where I can see everything. I'm already scoping out all the exits.
Right.
And knowing where things are. It's just,
Are you still carrying everywhere you go?
I refuse to now.
Do you really?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I carried that thing around for so long. I am so tired of it. I can't. I was just ready not to. And people say, "Why can't? I don't know how you can't carry." I said, "No." They said, "Well, what if you go somewhere that you need it?" I said, "I ain't going nowhere that I'm going to need it. That I know I'm going to need it or might need it. If I go somewhere and something happens, it was just the sheer luck of bad luck."
Yeah.
Because
I
I was
understand
not, I'm not putting myself in a place where where I'm going, I might need to have that there.
I feel the same way, and I've only been doing it 11 years. I'd rather not wear it if I can get away from it.
Right. I was tired of that weight on my hip, and I got a hip problem. It's bothering me now, and I don't know if that's related with it or not.
It probably is. Those duty belts and that weapon, all that gear that we carry,
Yeah.
on the streets, it's a lot. I had a taser, a gun, 2 sets of handcuffs, a radio, a stream light, all that stuff. It was a lot.
Pepper spray too, probably, right?
Pepper spray too.
Aspeton?
No, sir. I didn't carry
No?
Aspeton.
Okay. I had that, and I didn't have the taser, but I did know how to use it. I went through the training, and I did know how to use it, but I didn't have one. And now in Mississippi, do y'all have to get tased?
Yes, sir. I had to get tased before I could use it.
To carry one,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
Which-
They set up a mat on the floor with 2 officers on either side of me, and yeah. One got me between my shoulders, and one got me between my torso, in my waist.
I mean, you're basically somebody shooting a fishing hook into you. I mean,
right.
It's what it amounts to, and when it sticks, I promise you're gonna have blood when it comes out.
I had blood, but I didn't feel it come out. They pulled it out pretty quick after it was over. I didn't.
Well, if you yank it quick, it'll be all right. But there's a barb on it for it to stick.
Those barbs look like they hurt.
They do. I
I
swore
didn't
by
feel
all
it.
that was holy. Whenever I'd see somebody pull one out, I said, after getting tased, what I said,
Yeah.
so help me God, you better aim that right if you go, because I will break you up.
I wish I could find that video where Border Patrol shot some. I think it was Border Patrol. Border Patrol shot somebody with it while they were on a metal fence.
Oh my
I think
Lord.
that person died.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, something else you have to be mindful of. You cannot use it, from what I understand. I've never been gone through the phaser, or I mean the taser.
Taser.
But it's my understanding you cannot go through and tase someone after you've used OC spray on because of the OC spray is flammable. What's up, Frank?
Trying to remember. It's been so long. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I haven't carried one since 2016, 2017. I went
Yeah.
through the training in 2014 or 15,
Yeah.
something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not remembering on that. That may be true, Gary. That may be true because there is some alcohol that's in that, and it might flame.
Oh, that's what I've been told. I do the OC spray, but I don't do. I'm qualified for OC spray, but not for the taser.
Did y'all have to take a hit with the spray too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did too.
Now, did you take a hit with the taser? No,
Yes.
you probably didn't.
Yeah,
when
I
you
did.
were in the academy.
No,
No.
my academy days was back in the 70s, and it was a whole lot different than the academy now. It was very strict, but it wasn't military like. Now a lot of them are military like now, and it
How long
wasn't
was
that.
your academy?
6 weeks.
Mine was 10. Gary, did you do 10 or 12?
12. I did 12. In fact, I think mine was the first class down here that had to go 12.
I got you.
But I've had since then.
Guys, give me.
I've had since then probably several thousand hours of training, and
Right.
through either in service or going to the academy and taking specialized trainings and that kind of stuff. I was instructor certified. I was OC spray certified. I was firearm certified as a instructor. All of these instructor certificates that I had a bunch of instructor certificates, and that and about $2 would have bought me a cup of coffee at the Quick Trip because I didn't get an extra dime for it.
What
Well,
was the starting pay in the 70s, Mike?
I made $10,000 a year.
Good Lord. That's not a lot of money.
No.
what state was that in?
Georgia, city of Griffin.
I'm just curious, 10,000 in the 70s. And I'm trying to think, today, I think when I started, we were making 20 over, I think that's what we were making as a trainee, 19 actually, may have been 18, something like that. It wasn't much.
Well, Griffin's a mill town, or was. The mills have closed up now, but they had, I don't know, they had like 5 mills that just made towels, things like that related to towels, and they had other mills as well. And the city of Griffin itself didn't have a whole huge population. It was just over 20 or 25,000, something like that. But everybody in the surrounding area came to Griffin, either to work, shop, or play. And you're subject to have 2 or 3 times the population there in town on a given day, or especially on the weekends. And so, and every mill worker that there is that at least the ones that are young and not married and so forth, some of them that were married, come Friday when they got their paycheck, they had a jingle in their pocket, and every one of them thought they could fight like Bill Goldberg and drive like Bill Elliott, and they couldn't. And what you had to watch out for is every single one of them had a knife on them that they carried because they had to cut cloth. And it was a knife with a hook on the end of it where they could hook the cloth and cut the cloth. And I'm here to tell you, I had more than one of them pulled on me.
Well, that's one thing I don't think. There are a lot of issues that officers deal with. A lot of folks really just don't realize. It's just like you were saying before, Mike, that, you know, it's had an effect on you in not wanting to go into a smaller enclosed area. You know, officers, from what I understand, officers tend to avoid going out to eat a lot of the time, or going, you know, some of them avoid going to church because, you know, people come up to you and ask you to fix a ticket, or,
Yep.
you know, and you go out to eat, you know, there's a chance you'll run into somebody you arrested. It has an effect on you.
You have to watch your back all the time.
Yeah.
I had folks come up to me. I wouldn't fix a ticket. I refused to do it. But they would hand me like one. I'd have a few of them come up with parking tickets they got, and it was the ticket cost. It was a $2 ticket, and I said, I got it. I'll take care of it. I'd pay it. And they'd say, what happened? I said, you're good. You're good. You're good. I just paid it. And I said, I can't believe I got this. I was the meter expired. It was, and that was when they had meters. It had been 5 minutes, and that was all. And I said, I got it. I'll take care of it. And then they took all the meters out and they went around and started marking tires with chalk.
Goodness.
Well, we had these carts. They were Cushman's, I think was the brand name. But they, when you worked downtown beat, we had some that you could ride it on the downtown beat. Man, we had folks that were trying to do wheelies on them. They were trying. They would let them roll back. They didn't like having them. They didn't want them, and they'd try to let them roll back and then yank it and let it go forward, you know, and they wrecked the transmissions in them, and so we were back to walking the beat then.
Now, Cushman cart, is that like a little bit like a four-wheeler, you know, with some panels on the side?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
I think I
a
know
little bit
that.
like that. Yeah, it's not real elaborate. It doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but they would try to do things, and they ended up wrecking the things, and they got sent over to the shop, and the shop never repaired them because they didn't have anybody down there that knew how.
Oh. Wow.
And I'd go down and say, when y'all gonna work on them? I said, when they send us somebody who knows how to fix them. And I said, good enough reason not to fix it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, things, you know, it's funny because it used to be, you know, people walked the beat, you know, and you knew everybody in that neighborhood back then.
oh yeah. But see, when we'd shop like the big shopping centers that were on the north side of town, I would get out and I'd walk it and shake doors to see if anybody had broke into it or whatnot, you know, so that it would be, you know, better for it. You know, it gave it a more personalized touch. And on a day shift, the folks on the downtown beat, the shops and all, they loved it when you came in there and saw them and talked to them. They loved it. Oh yeah. Oh, they were happy. They were happy as larks.
Well, these days at our work, we do check locked doors or locked buildings. it's, but it's a little different than, community, than it used to be. I expect in the community.
Well, back then we prided ourselves on being able to find if it was okay if the place got broke into, because you can't be everywhere all at once, but you better be the one to find it. And if you didn't find it, they were going to come in and say, hey, this got broke into on your side of town. Why didn't you find it?
We had to do business checks when I was on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won. Yeah, they didn't want any break-ins. They'd get mad at you if something got broken into.
Yeah. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, they wanted you to try and catch them, and we caught a bunch of them in the act. Oh, man, did we catch a bunch of them in the act. And you figure out these little signs. Like there was this barbershop in Experiment. This is a perfect example. He had the 6-pack of drinks that sat. He had a little storeroom in the back, and right there wasn't anything in the storeroom, but he had a 6-pack of drinks that sat right in front of the door. If you come by there in the front and you shine the light in there and that 6-pack's moved, somebody's in the building. Because you couldn't get around back to look at it. You could only look at it from the front.
Right.
And that was your way of knowing somebody had broke in or not.
I think I'd only caught one guy breaking into something, but he was on a bicycle and he managed to get away, jump a fence. It was pitch black dark. I never could find him. He took off running.
We had this one place that the guy, I got there and the housing on the exhaust fan, it was a sock. They made socks in there, and the housing on the exhaust fan was pulled back, and the blade was pulled, and I had been like 10 minutes gone by there, and it wasn't that way. And I'm like, he's still in there. And so I called for backup. They got there, and it was a narrow area that you had to go through. And they said, and I said, okay. Well, and we knew somebody was in there, and I said, well, yeah, somebody's got to go in there and get him. And they said, what do you mean somebody? Well, one of us. And they said, who found it? And I said, okay, I got to go in there.
Right.
But to get through the hole that he did, I had to take my gun belt and all off. I couldn't get through it with it. And so I said, I hollered through the little housing. I said, all right, just want you to know, I'm fixing to come in there. And I got to take my gun belt off. I'm going to be unarmed. So here's the deal. I so much as scratched myself coming through here, and these fellas is going to take you out. Knowing full well they weren't. But and I said, so now is your best time just to say, here I am, and give it up. And they're looking at me like, really? And I said, just hang on, just he popped up and said, I'm right here. I said, bring yourself over here. And he came over to it, and we looked in there, and we said, we had two guys that were trustees, and one of them had got out the week before in the city jail, and they were both named Eddie, and one was white and one was black. Yeah, I know.
I walked back and you mentioned my name about people being in jail named Eddie.
I can't help it. I didn't name him. But he says one was black and one was white, and we would call them Black Eddie and White Eddie. And we said, Black Eddie, that's you? Yeah, it's me. And we said, what the hell are you breaking in here for? And he goes, I didn't really want to steal anything. I just didn't have nowhere to go, and I wanted somewhere to sleep. And I said, well, guess what? We're going to give you somewhere to sleep now.
Hey, Gary, that's addressed to you. Raquel, I don't know if you answered it already. Raquel wants to know if you'll have people up tonight. I don't know if she's talking about here or in your next live or what.
Well, I posted a link up top. If you want to, you're welcome to join, Raquel.
I didn't know if she was talking about this or you're live later on tonight. And
Oh.
just to
That's
let
club
you,
tonight.
since there ain't,
I'm assuming she means. I assume she means
What do you
tonight.
do with her?
You can put her in the thing, or just let her loose. She'll be all right. My wife's come in. She's asking about the puppy dog. Please take that shirt where she can't pull on it.
hey, Gary,
Yeah.
since there ain't that many people here tonight,
Yeah.
I'd like to ask a favor of you.
Sure. What?
Tonight, and I don't care how long you keep it going or whatever, but tonight, you know, I've been in live since 11 o'clock this morning. I woke up at 10 and been on the phone and been in lives. And then I just took a break because I had to return some phone calls and everything. And, but I don't want to go live tonight at 7:40. If you want to move, if you want to, but I would like a little, let me get some shout outs together and take a little bit of time on your panel to shout these people out or whatever. But if you want to go live at 7:40 tonight, move yours up. Maybe you hit a little bit earlier crowd and you can go as long as you want. You know, you can go past your 9 o'clock to whenever you want. And I might not be up there the whole time because I need to get off here, need to eat, need to do some other stuff, you know.
Oh, I understand. You've already over 5 hours, I figure.
Yeah, I've been on here since I got up at 10, a little bit before 10, and been on here since 11. So, and it may give you a little bit of more visibility going up early this morning or this evening at 7:40, my normal time.
Yeah.
Plus, Sammy Godwin's going live at 6, and so I have to go over there and stuff like that. So once I get done with Sammy, you know, I'll come up on your panel. I'll do my shout outs. I'll leave you running, you know, stuff like that. But I don't want to be
that's cool.
on here all night. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's not a problem.
I was going to talk to you. I was going to talk to you about that after I got out of that other live, but then this one started, so I didn't have time.
I understand.
You know what? It's gotten to where when I wake up in the mornings and I look at notifications, I'll see like 30 lives that and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, this is the new, this is the new thing, I guess, in social media, live streaming.
Yeah.
And with StreamYard and panels and having folks up and
yeah. Oh, I love doing it. It's just I can't do all of them.
Yep.
Oh, I know. And the fact is, I've actually got 5, maybe 6 different programs I'm kind of committed to on a weekly basis. So, it is what it is. I enjoy doing it.
And some that I want to go on regularly, by the time I see it, it's over.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Thanks,
I'll try to go back. I'll try to go back and watch some of it, and sometimes I've watched all of it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
understand replays, but when there are only so many hours in the day, and a lot of times I'm faced between somebody I really want to go to their live and, going through and a lot of times there's folks that have supported me in my channel that I have not spent, much time in their lives. And so, I try to go over to their lives too. And, but my trouble is I can't pull, Bacon Hater. Bacon Hater can go into 4 or 5 lives, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20 lives at one time.
I can't do that.
I can't either. I can't focus well enough.
I'll be lost track of the conversation.
I can't either.
It's tough sometimes. I have them open on all 3 of my screens, and I have a bunch of lives running in my ears. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish, but I listen for my name, and I don't like going in that many lives, but I do it just to try to spread it around.
No, we don't look mean. The fact is, one thing
I
that we
was
do,
thinking that same question, Walls. Is that I said it's either that or it's Deadpool. It's one.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Punisher. It's Punisher.
this is, all right, I guess I ought to go ahead and tell it. The fact is that this shirt I bought because, I was heading to work and, for some reason, we were doing some kind of a training or something that day, and I was going in for an overtime thing, and I needed to spend a lot of time out on the boat, out in the lake, and so it wasn't like I had to be in full uniform. I just had to be there, and all the other clothes I had were dark, very dark, colors. And so, and it was a hot day. So I didn't want to get out there on the lake in a dark colored shirt on, 100-degree heat. It just didn't seem right. So I stopped by somewhere, and this is the first shirt I saw that looked like it was the lightest color they had there. And it was, and plus I kind of like the Punisher looking skull. I like Harley Davidson stuff too, and they got skulls on it and what have you. So it just seemed to make sense. And Devil Dog, what you mistake for looking mean is just a close crop haircut. That's all.
Well, y'all were discussing getting shot with tasers or whatever earlier. I've never been shot with one. Do not feel like getting shot with one.
If you could avoid it.
Me and electricity do not get along. I that's one thing I do not. I'd rather be shot with a gun than stabbed with a knife or sliced with a knife. I love knives and everything, but it's just, to me, I don't know. But I don't know. But I have been through gas chambers several times, and it was not pleasurable either.
Man, I've been hit with pepper spray so many times now. First time I got hit, it took like 20 minutes for me to get right. Now I can go over and just throw some water on my face and I'm good.
Now I have been shocked with a shot collar.
I did that.
I saw that. That was funny.
I did that. My wife said, I don't know if this is cruel or not. I said, well, let me see. And I put it on me and I shot myself.
Well, the dogs, I don't know, but I've taken it at the highest setting, but even at the setting at 1, I don't know if it was the shock factor or what, but I didn't care for it, but everybody else thought it was funny.
I took the highest level there was, and it was after having that taser, so I was like, it ain't bad. But I never put it on that with the dogs, and it was I used it only with the bark so that they would not bark when we were in a place where I didn't want them barking.
Cottonwood Ranch, who are you? Why would I join your family if I don't even know who you are, Cottonwood Ranch?
That's.
Yes, I am subscribed to that Cottonwood Ranch, whoever that is.
Yeah.
I just went there, and yes, I am subscribed.
Well, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure I am, but let me go check.
Hey, you got Bacon Hater on you as your name.
That was somebody else's idea.
I got no problem with it. Hey, I believe. Hey, I was a pig. Police in Georgia.
That's mental dog.
Wait. What was that?
I was a pig. Police in Georgia.
Well, here's the thing. Some people take offense to that.
I don't care what they call me. You can call me anything.
Thank you.
Call me whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
Here's a couple things. Number one, my dad was in the Army when I was, a kid. He joined when I was 2 years old. Now, he spent 2 years as a grunt, and then he went to an MP, spent 2 years as MP, and then he went admin and spent 2 years as admin while he was in the Army. But I was raised to respect the police and everything else.
Me too.
But it was jokes and everything else, not nothing demeaning or hateful, but you call cops pigs. That was a nickname for them and everything else. But some people take that very offensive and stuff, so I try not to use it, And there's, on my soundboard over here, there's one sound that I wouldn't play because I didn't want to offend anybody or anything. But anyway, I think that
Play
person
it.
just, I think
Play
that,
it, Bacon. Play it. Play it, Bacon.
but anyways,
well, I've been called 5-0, and whenever they call me that, I'd say, okay, you know what the origin of that is, how that came about, and they'd say, oh yeah, the police show, and I said, yeah, where'd they get the name? That's what I'm talking about. And they'd say, oh, I don't know. I said, see, if you're going to use the name, if you're going to call me something, you need to know what it means. I said, I don't mind you calling me that, but at least have the respect to know what it means.
So what's it mean?
5-0, Hawaii was the 50th state.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense.
And there is no real Hawaii 5-0.
It was a good show.
Or was there a Magnum PI?
Yeah, 2 of them. And one was much shorter than the other one.
But see, here's the thing. Most of the times I've been pulled over and given tickets. The cops have been respectful. They've been, fair but stern and everything else. But this last time that Wallace knows about, it was a woman cop, and she was on a power trip or something, and she was very disrespectful, and I was nothing but respectful to her. Yes, ma'am, everything else. But she pissed me off. She kept cutting me off and everything else. Even when I got into a motorcycle wreck, and I have, scars and stuff, but I wrecked downtown Houston, and most wrecks, motorcycle wrecks are fatalities and everything else. Yeah, but see, I had a big lump on the side of my knee because I went into an SUV.
Oh Lord.
The light turned. It was downtown Houston where everything's 3-lane traffic, one way and everything. And I was leaving my first job, going to my second job, and I was in the very left-hand lane fixing to take a left to go on 59 North. And there was a light, and there was three cars stopped at that light. Well, the light turned yellow on me, so I gunned it trying to beat the light. The guy in the very right lane seen me, and he just stayed there. Lady in the middle lane was just looking at the light, and as soon as it turned green, she hit the gas and went, and 3 feet, and she was in my lane. So I slammed on my brakes. I turned my bike, and I went like that. My hand went through her back passenger side window. My leg got sandwiched between the SUV and my bike. The bike flew over, fell over and everything else. So, the mirrors were broke, the cowling was broke, cracked and everything else. The brake pedal was bent up into the engine, and I picked up my bike, walked it over to the sidewalk, bent the brake pedal back out and stuff. And, the cops was called, the ambulance was called. I was all cut up, bleeding. And like I said, I had a huge knot, limping and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the cop was respectful and stuff. And he said, man, I hate to do this to you. You just got in a wreck. You're all beat up and stuff. And the ambulance tried to take me to the hospital. I'm like, nope, nothing's broke. Flex my hand and move my leg. I'm like, I got to go to work. And I had just started this job 2 weeks prior. And I called in. I said, hey, I just got into a motorcycle wreck. And they're like, okay, that's fine. Just get here when you get here. Didn't want to lose my job. So anyways, the cop's like, man, I hate to do this to you. You just got in a wreck and stuff like that, but I got to give you a ticket. And, it was cool. It was my fault. I understand that and everything else. And I got the ticket, and stuff, but he was respectful and everything else. And, I was in the wrong and stuff like that. The lady that I just got the cop in, it was a money grab and everything else. And she was rude. Everything, power trip, and that's what the cops like that pissed me off.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, what became of that ticket?
I had to pay it. It was,
you go to
like I
court?
said, it was a money grab. Yes, I went to court about it. I told the judge what it was. I had video and everything else. And he told him to take $30 off the ticket. It was a $180 ticket. And the court clerk or whatever said, Judge, we can't do that. We can only take $10 off of it, blah, blah, blah. So instead of $100, and he was trying to persuade me to take defensive driving for some reason. He's like,
So you
oh,
don't
it'll
get
give-
points on your license.
He's like, well, I don't care. I don't ever get tickets anyway, Mike. I mean, the last time
Yeah.
I had a ticket was freaking forever ago. And if you go the speed limit here, you're going to get rear-ended or
It's
they're
the
going to
way
be
it is
right
in
in your
Atlanta.
butt. This is
Yeah.
freaking Houston, or suburbs of Houston. People are going 80, 90 on the freeway. I was going, what I thought the speed limit was 60. And I always do about 5 miles over. So I was doing 63 and a 60. And I just looked at the sign. And then the speed limit changed to 55. So I was doing 8 miles over. So,
See, that
but
won't even get you stopped in Georgia.
yeah,
Nope.
it got me stopped in a ticket here, and it wasn't malicious or anything else. So, I mean, I have a problem with the whole Mount Bellevue Police Department and stuff, and
You didn't use none of that stuff I told you to try.
well, the judge was nice enough, but he was trying to get me to freaking do take defensive driving and stuff, and I told him no. I'm like, defensive driving is more expensive than the ticket itself.
Well,
So-
here's the deal. If you want to see it get hung up forever and a day, go in with the judge anytime you get a traffic ticket. It'll get hung up forever and a day in court. Go in and say, Judge, I'd like this bound over to state court. If it's in a municipal court, city court, something like that, recorder's
really?
court, whatever, that will tie it up forever and a day because they just ain't got time for it. And if it's on radar, what you do is you tell them you plead not guilty if you want to go stay where you are, and you ask them, okay, when was the last time it was calibrated?
The officer wasn't even there.
Well, they
She
won't
never-
be on it. That was an arraignment. They won't be on that.
Okay.
Day. But if you go to trial, that's when they're there.
Okay.
And then you come when you're questioning the officer, you say, when was the last time your radar unit was calibrated? Oh, they'll tell you when, and where's the calibration certificate? Or they'll say, oh, a lot of them say, I calibrate it every morning. They don't calibrate it. They check the calibration to see. They have to see if it's right. But if they say I calibrated it in every morning. So you'd say, where's your license to work on this machine? They don't have one. They're not licensed. They're not the ones that can work on them. So it's because that 8 miles an hour over, that ain't worth the effort.
Yeah.
That just ain't worth the effort. I'd have waved at you and said, have a good day.
As far as I know,
I think they called them. What did they call them that police officers used to tune them? Tuning forks?
Yeah.
Those metal things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that every shift before I started my day.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'm here to tell you right now. You can mark it down. I will tell you right now. There's never in the history of traffic accidents been one that was caused by speeding alone. Speeding has never caused one.
No, there's always other factors.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, and people say, oh yeah, speed it caused this accident. Tell me what happened. And they'll say, oh, well, he was driving real fast and he came up behind somebody and he couldn't stop. I said, following too close.
Right. Yeah.
He was driving so fast, this guy turned and he hit him. I said, failure to yield right away.
Exactly.
Oh, he was weaving in and out of traffic, driving fast and improper lane change.
Yeah. There's always other factors.
Exactly. It has
Speed
never
is-
been one by itself. Did speed contribute to it? Yes. But
Right.
it by itself never has caused an accident. And I'll challenge anybody to find me wrong.
You're not going to find anybody to find you wrong on that.
Sid, come on.
Because
Sure.
all speed laws exist for one reason, and that is to generate money.
Yeah.
That is it.
And it
Nothing
generates a lot of it.
Oh boy, does it ever. Yeah.
It generates a lot of it.
That's the way, same way with red light cameras. That's just to generate money.
Well, in Mississippi, the law says an officer has to be present. So they don't have that opportunity in Mississippi, even though several jurisdictions have tried it.
Yeah, they're illegal here in Texas now as well.
We had them in Georgia. I don't know what the status of it right now is. I haven't seen one in a long time. They may have made that same change in Georgia. But you still will see some places have speed detection devices where they'll that are set up just to monitor your speed. I'm not talking about the ones with the big display to show you how fast you're going. It's
Right.
something that it takes a photo of you if you're speeding, and then they'll send you a ticket. I have seen those, and I'm like, I didn't think those were legal in Georgia. I thought they had said no to that, but
It's not legal here. Now they set up speed detection devices. We have one on campus, but we can't run radar on campus. Mississippi has a very specific law about who can run radar, and the state hospitals never fell into that.
Yeah.
You have,
Well,
to have,
yeah,
you have to have the population to run it.
right. And in Georgia, you can't conceal yourself unless a state trooper. Now, none of this applies to state troopers. They can stop you for anything. If you're a local jurisdiction, you can't stop for anything less than 10 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Really?
Right. You can't conceal yourself. You're not supposed to run it on a grade of I think it's greater than 6% or something like that. Or less.
I think I remember all this. Georgia used to be really bad years ago about writing speeding tickets, if I remember correctly, before they changed the law.
Now, if you're a trooper, if you're a state trooper, you got
Do
carte
whatever.
blanche. You got
Right.
Hey, fellas, I hate to be the one that brings it up, but we have run over our time. We can go longer if y'all want, but
No, I need to go get something to eat. I'm hungry.
all right.
There's two things you never call the police late for: payday and chow time.
We will not be late for either one of those.
No.
No.
Hey, I don't like being late for supper. That's for sure. Anyhow, I want to thank you, Mike, for coming on.
It was
Obviously,
a pleasure.
Wallace, it's been good to have you on here, brother.
I'm gonna check you out, Wallace.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna post my first video this weekend.
I
Either
look
tonight or
forward
tomorrow.
to seeing it. I look forward
Yes,
to
sir.
seeing it.
And of course, Bacon Hater, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
With another viewpoint, another vantage point. And anyhow,
But you got to cut me some slack. If I'm supposed to be the other side of things, because just like that freaking background that I had, to me it was just a L. Beggar defund police.
yeah, well, that's not going to happen. But anyhow,
How about refund the police?
there we go. I like that one. Anyhow, just want to say thank you for coming, and thanks for coming, L. Beggar. And appreciate it, Cottonwood Ranch.
I got one question to ask. Anybody that says defund the police, who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Who you gonna call? I done seen folks that say I want to defund the police, and the next thing you know, they wasn't long after that they was having to call the police come help them.
Yeah.
If someone breaks into your house and they're armed, who you gonna call?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What
I'm
happened?
gonna call my gun here in Texas, right next to me.
Hey,
Some people don't believe in guns and they want to defund the police. So if you don't believe in guns and you don't believe in police, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna die. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna kill you.
Well, I hope not.
I actually know a guy who put up a sign in his yard. His neighbor was an anti-gun person, and this friend I know I got, he's got tons of them.
I
He
see
put
it
up
coming already.
he put up a sign in his yard that said, "I got guns," and he had an arrow pointing to the other house saying, "He don't."
Oh, that's funny.
That's great.
Anyhow, I want to say thank you to everybody to come in, and we're gonna call it so we can go. That gets into a whole nother bailiwick, whatever you want to call it, because you start talking about the Second Amendment and everything else, but we ain't gonna get into that today.
No.
We're gonna get into that next time.
That's a whole nother issue.
It is, and but anyhow, I appreciate everybody coming in, and y'all have a good, and hopefully we'll be able to meet again next week, same time, 4:00 p.m. Central Time, and we ain't got to talk about everything Popo related, or but it seems as good a topic as any, and y'all have a good night, and we're gonna call it 3, 2, 1.